Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video I'd like to discuss what's happening on Twitter since the results of the US presidential election were announced. Why people are not just moving to Blue Sky, but in many cases actively leaving Twitter, and what I think about the merits of it all. And if you're someone who has made the move yourself, I may have a handy little bonus for you in the video as well. But first, for daily political commentary, please click the subscribe button so you don't miss out. So people started noticing something on Twitter, which is what I will call it to my dying day. And then, because I'm religious, actually beyond that as well, people noticed a sudden drop in followers. This, several people mused, was the bots being switched off, nothing to worry about. And I can attest to this. Something similar happened on YouTube where the analytics are way more detailed and you can tell a lot more. There was a noticeable, I mean a big drop, well, in subscribers on the day of the election, massive drop on the next day, November the 6th, and then a few days after that. However, my videos on those affected days were actually generating quite high numbers of new subscribers by my standards. So the drop in subscribers was entirely accounts being deleted or unsubscribing without actually viewing the content. Now, sure, people do sometimes have a clear out of subscriptions they're no longer viewing. I do from time to time. But it was this massive drop on these same days as my videos were getting very high numbers of net positive subscribers. Very consistent with the idea of bots being turned off, now that they were no longer needed. However, on Twitter, the drop in followers has continued for many accounts ever since. So this must be something else as well. And it seems it is. Ever since the presidential election result, there's been a steady stream of people moving to Blue Sky. As of yesterday, there were about 18 million there now, which is the social media platform most like Twitter. Threads and Mastodon are pants, by the way. Sorry if they work for you, but, you know, well, they're pants. Now, I have issues with Blue Sky myself. That being said, these days it can't be said to be more unstable than Twitter. And there's the advantage that it isn't run by an entitled man-child. Lots of people are commenting on how much more pleasant the experience is for them. Now, as I think I've probably said in the past, my attitude towards Twitter is sort of quite different to most people's. This is why when it comes to people commenting on how toxic it was all becoming, I didn't really notice the difference. Because I've never really used Twitter to say much. It's not, I don't use it as like to take part in a conversation as such. I do post and I do comment, but that's incidental because I'm not very good at keeping my mouth shut, even in the online world. But YouTube is where I say things. Twitter is where I listen to things. That means following experts in various fields that are of particular interest to me, as well as what political opponents have to say, because I want to know what the arguments are. So Space Karen didn't actually do horrendous damage to Twitter for me personally. Some experts did leave a long time ago, which was still damage for me, but most remained. And the people with whom I have major political disagreements were there too. So I was still getting almost full use out of Twitter. But that is changing. The hope lay in the fact that Twitter under Musk's leadership was unsustainable and maybe something would give. But now there's a new reality. Musk is likely to profit a great deal from Trump's win, assuming he doesn't have a bust up with the orange one and get sacked. And certainly intends to go from being very billionaire-y to trillionaire-y. And indeed, far from wanting social media platforms to properly regulate their content, Trump has said he actively wants platforms to avoid doing this. So it looks like people have now given up on Twitter and headed over to Blue Sky as the obvious replacement. And at least it's a good thing that everyone seems to have chosen the same destination. One of my fears of an exodus from Twitter, and no, that's not a pun because it's Twitter, not X, is that people would split up and go to different platforms. See, I'm okay switching between Twitter and Blue Sky. I'm not having tabs open for Mastodon, Threads and whatever other abominations stick their head above the parapet. So what do I think of Blue Sky? Well, if the majority of the experts I follow go over there, and a good few already have, then I'll be happy enough. I'll still use Twitter, and for two reasons. First of all, Space Karen wants this migration so that it becomes a functioning version of Truth Social. He wants the mainstream far-right echo chamber. So if for no other reason, I'll be staying there just to be that stubborn bastard who refuses to sell their house to developers, and now I'm living in a house in the middle of the road. But I understand why it's not worth it for a lot of people. You've got to consider your mental health. But second, those I strongly disagree with are going to still be on Twitter and they're not going to move to Blue Sky. Like, for example, it's been noted that some Tory papers haven't moved over to Blue Sky. And I want to know what they're saying. See, I'm comfortable with the cesspit because it's got information I need. I do worry that we end up with essentially two populations: enlightened progressives dominating Blue Sky and regressive troglodytes on Twitter. But if that's what happens, that's what happens. It would be nice if something could just usurp Twitter and be the new Twitter, but that's not the way it's shaping up at the moment, so I'll just have to adapt. I can at least post up my videos on Blue Sky because that actually works, unlike Twitter these days. And if you're on Blue Sky or about to make the move, you may be interested in a starter pack that the Movement Forward have put together of political accounts, which you can just go down and follow the people you recognise. Link in the description below. But in summary, I'll say I will still be on Twitter, but I will also be on Blue Sky as well. I may have to put some effort into Blue Sky to begin with, as it's still building up, and so there's less for me to react to, which is what I mostly do in terms of Twitter posts anyway. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join for memberships. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.